So welcome to the Peacefit vlog, and I am going to look at the camera because my husband will tell me off if I look at the screen. We thought we'd do something a bit different today because everyone's in quarantine, and although we are still exercising ourselves, it would just be a little thoughtless of us, we thought, for us to kind of just focus on our normal weekend when actually it's not normal for people at the moment, is it?
Far from it. And I think there's enough people already talking about coronavirus and what we should and shouldn't do, and things like that.
And it doesn't need us doing it, and also we don't feel like we haven't been asked for our opinion, so we're not going to give it, basically.
But we'll just give our opinion on this instead.
Yeah, why not? So we are going to talk about today something that you deal with, and we feel that it's relevant because as sports amateur athletes, we forget that actually, even though we're doing something we love, we can sometimes be doing it with an illness or a disease, and it's learning to manage the illness or disease whilst doing a sport. So that's kind of what we're focusing on today, isn't it?
It's become quite noticeable in the last few weeks, because of what's going on with the coronavirus and things like that as well. It's kind of made it a little bit more difficult to manage.
Yeah, so what are we talking about?
So I have a inflammatory bowel disease.
Which is
Crohn's more specifically, but you also get ulcerative colitis is in the same group, and it's basically inflammation of the gut and the bowel lining. It can cause ulcerations, and it restricts the amount of nutrients that can be absorbed, and fundamentally as a result of it you suffer with a high level of fatigue if it's not managed.
Yeah, and when were you first diagnosed with it?
Years ago. 2.5, 3 years ago maybe. And
the interesting thing is that when we first met, obviously you told me that you had it, and I'd known people that had it, but the more extreme version of. And I guess you've got a milder version, not that that takes anything away from what you have to go through, but Crohn's comes in different levels of severity like a lot of diseases, doesn't it? So
worst case is you can't control it through medication, and you end up having to have parts of your bowel removed or guts and stuff like that.
And yours isn't at that stage because thankfully the medication you take manages your Crohn's, as in the awful symptoms that come with it, basically. So why have we noticed it, would you say, over the last... let's retract. How did you manage it at first with regards to your cycling? And actually you were running at the time, weren't you? And it has stopped you from running.
Yes. So with a flare, and I'm going to call it a flare, but in reality you're just constantly holding that flare back anyway. So my bowel movements haven't been normal now since I've had it. So they're very much, you have to go when you go and you have no control over it. So if you go out running, you're jumping up and down, you're moving, it just naturally, everything ends up in one place, doesn't it?
And we have found that 4 miles seemed to be your magic number. So when we first met and we were running together, it would get to 4 miles and you'd have to go and do a Paula Radcliffe, wouldn't you? And
come straight
or run straight home. So I think it's so sad that it stopped your running, because actually you're an amazing athlete.
I think
when it
probably
comes
I'm better
to
at running than I am at cycling.
I think actually you are. You're built for running. So do you think you turned to cycling because it was affecting you running, and you felt that cycling was something that was achievable with it?
Yeah, I mean originally I picked up cycling to improve my running, and over that period of say 12-18 months where I went from running and then started cycling more was about the same time that I started to suffer with it. And then eventually just settled on cycling because it's a lot easier to manage that way.
And how were you diagnosed? How long did you live without knowing that you had it, would you say?
Probably a couple of years.
Oh, so quite a long time.
Yeah, because I was still smoking at the time.
Yeah.
So
smoking managed your symptoms, didn't it?
Yeah, it's a really good form of medication, basically.
We're not promoting that everyone smokes for Crohn's, but it managed your symptoms.
It was when I was trying to give up, I would give up, and then a month later, 3 months later, whatever, I'd end up in a flare, and I'd have all these symptoms of basically diarrhea, needing to go to the toilet, blood in the worst case, and then you end up getting stressed and then start smoking again.
Worse, yeah.
No, started smoking again, and then that was it. It went away.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it wasn't until.
But then you finally went to the doctors.
Yeah, because I wanted to give up and I wanted to know what was wrong with me at the same time.
Yeah. And then you had tests.
Yeah, plenty of examinations.
Oh, baby. We won't tell anyone.
No.
Just our 25 subscribers.
Yeah.
And then you were officially told.
Yes.
What did you think when they first told you? Did you know what it was exactly? Or at all? Never heard of it?
You don't know what it was. You don't really know what the full impact of it is. And fortunately, it didn't take long to find a form of medication that controlled it very, very well. That didn't almost need constant monitoring either.
Yeah.
So I went through a period of going on to prednisolone, a steroid, to treat the immediate flare, whilst we then try and find
something that worked.
Yeah. And almost instantly stumbled upon the salazine, which basically treats it really well. Mine anyway, obviously.
Yeah. When it comes to your training, now we've been together a year now, and so I've seen you through flares up and down quite a number of times now, and it's so obvious when you're going through a flare how it affects you, and I don't think you give yourself credit for how it affects you either.
No.
Your fatigue is incredible, and how you still train through that, I have no idea. And I think you're just starting to give yourself a break over it, aren't you?
So I don't have to take my medication every day when it's not flaring up.
Yeah, you wait to worst case, then you take it to manage it. Whereas in reality, if you took it every day,
it would probably not cause an issue. So we went away to Spain
Española.
the other month, early February.
We did.
And we weren't able to get my full medication.
No, they were out.
They didn't have enough in stock.
Yeah.
So we came back, and ever since then, I had half a month's worth, which lasted to the end of February nearly. And then ever since then, we've been trying to get hold of some medication, haven't we?
Yeah, the entire world has been out of mesalazine and Pentasa. Amazingly, yeah.
Forget bulk buying toilet roll and paracetamol.
Yeah, we didn't care. We literally just wanted your medication.
Yeah.
But what that meant is that for a week, Russ couldn't be couldn't take your medication.
No.
And even though you didn't have a flare as such, the fatigue was really noticeable, wasn't it?
Yeah, fortunately I haven't come into a period where I am suffering large amounts of physical symptoms.
Yeah.
But because I know I haven't been taking it and I've wanted to take it, I've really noticed that fatigue setting in. And I can remove almost all other
factors,
causes of the fatigue, because my training has been reduced quite a lot for the last month, and my life outside of that is pretty much standard. It's been very, very stable.
It's not any more stressful than it already is. Yeah.
So to suddenly then be suffering in the last couple of weeks because I haven't had the medication, it's been really, really noticeable. To the point that I've struggled to even get on the bike and be motivated to train.
Been
really.
that fatigued.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing is that you've only just accepted that fatigue, whereas before you would have powered through it.
Yeah. and not really known that it was that, or ignored that it was that, because I've always talked about how I tend to go through peaks and troughs all the time.
And you thought it was motivation related.
I thought it was to do with training load and training cycles and your body kind of absorbing the training load, and then like a few weeks later you start to see the effects of it. Whereas actually I think it was just my Crohn's giving me a level of fatigue, and actually as I came out of it and I started to treat it, I would then suddenly have a surge of energy, because that was just my normal energy almost. And literally I've been taking it now for a couple of 3 days, and
you're back on it.
It's like I've completely changed my motivation.
Mood, like you can tell in your face you're not as tired. It's amazing.
And of course, when you're on the bike and you're indoors, completely controlled environment, and you're doing intervals that are like controlled to plus or minus 1 or 2 watts, it doesn't take much to make it really noticeable in a power reader.
That's so true.
So whereas before I could just get on and smash out 280, 290 watt sweet spot efforts, now all of a sudden I can't even sustain that for like 10 minutes. So it's certainly quite noticeable with the way that you can read performance.
Does it frustrate you that you've got it because of that? Because it's like a female having a period once a month. Like I've said the same to you, like the week before I'm fatigued, absolutely fatigued, yet we'll fight through it, and it's different to Crohn's, I know that, it's not as extreme, but...
You get frustrated by it.
I get frustrated by the fatigue, like why is my body doing this to me? I just want to ride, I feel awful.
But at least you know you're going into a competition with everyone's in the same boat.
Well, I can choose when I have competition, right? If I know my period's this week, I won't enter until the following week.
But if you can't train every 1 in 4 weeks properly, then you're losing out on that. But all females are the same.
True.
Whereas...
But we're not all bleeding at the same time.
No.
It's a myth. But whereas with you don't know when that fatigue's coming.
No. And if it stops me training for 1 week out of 4, that's 25% less training potential than someone else who's able to train all the way through. And they're the people I've got to compete against. So
they are, and the interesting thing is that you are hard on yourself because of it. And I'd like to think I've taught you to be a bit softer on yourself because of it. Like you'll beat yourself up when you come off the bike because you didn't do a good job, and I'm like, baby, you have Crohn's. Like you're not gonna be like they are.
I suppose I never like to use anything as an excuse.
No, and you should. And in fairness, you shouldn't. You are what you think, right? Like if you start to think all the time, oh, my Crohn's is making me slow. Well, sorry, no. But you have to admit, at least 1 week out of 6, you are going to feel shit.
So, how do I manage it?
Medication manages the symptoms, right? But the fatigue is always underlying with you.
It's always underlying, But in terms of like diet and things like that, as much as like it's not IBS, as in
please don't say to Russ he has IBS.
Don't compare the feeling you get when you eat something and it gives you an upset stomach with what someone with inflammatory bowel disease has.
It's totally, and I've seen you, it's horrible. It's totally different.
But if I just ate takeaways all the time, limited nutritional value and things like that, not only am I going to not be absorbing many nutrients either because I've got inflammation of the bowel, but I'm also not consuming them either.
True.
So
we manage a lot of it by your diet,
like heavily dense nutritious foods, loads of vegetables and things like that, because at least if you get 20% of them or 60% of those nutrients in, at least you're putting yourself in the strongest position possible.
Well, we must say part of the fatigue does come from the fact that the bowel struggles to absorb nutrients, so where someone like me or whoever who doesn't have Crohn's would absorb them, 80% of the nutrients, you're maybe, please don't take my word for the figures, you're maybe absorbing 40% of them. So the fatigue comes in because your body just doesn't have the same access to vitamins, minerals that we all get from food normally.
Yeah.
Would you say because your diet's changed since you met me in terms of probably eating more veg, would you say that's helped, made a difference noticeably, or?
If I look at if I go back maybe a year or two, if I hadn't had medication for 2 weeks, I think
You'd know.
I'd definitely know about it, yeah. Whereas I haven't got that many physical symptoms at the moment, and I wonder whether that's to do with healthy diet.
Yeah, could be. And it's been a consistent healthy diet now as well. Yeah, and also the interesting thing is how I think you manage it is you really listen to your body in terms of what you want to eat and when. So you know that sometimes you'll have to eat pizza because you know your body needs it. Do you see what I mean? Like it needs and not that pizza's a bad food, they're not.
Yeah,
but I mean, our diets are so different.
Yeah, it's hard to tell whether that urge to want to eat something so calorific is because of the training load though.
True, yeah.
And it could just be that because I've done burnt an extra 3,000 calories this week and I haven't consumed enough to fuel it.
But it's weird for me knowing as I know you now, it does seem to, when you're fatigued, you crave those foods more.
Yeah, potentially.
Which is interesting. So how would you, I'm not saying you should advise someone else because you're not a fucking doctor or anything, but how would you advise other people to manage, not necessarily Crohn's, but a disease with a sport that they want to do or that's maybe a bit of a limiter?
Yeah. You are going to be on the back foot all the time.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah, because you're never able really to give 100% all the time. Now,
but then no one is, right?
You can. Like, if you haven't got something that's going to hold you back 1 week in 4 or 1 week in 8 or whatever,
I see what you mean, yeah.
You can continually train, you have your rest weeks, you recover, then you train again. Whereas if let's just say it is 1 in 4 weeks, I suffer more with my fatigue than other weeks, that doesn't mean that week becomes a rest week.
Yeah.
That means that my body's recovering something else and it doesn't have time to then recover
from training.
So you end up having to have 2 rest weeks, 1 for your Crohn's and 1 for your training load.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks out of 4 then.
Yeah. So the only advice really you can give someone is accept that you're not going to be 100% all the time, but listen to your body. And
how do you listen to your body?
If you feel tired, you feel tired.
Yeah. That's so hard, isn't it?
And sometimes you get on, you do your warm up, you might not feel great. Sometimes you smash out a really good interval session afterwards and sometimes you don't. So you can't always play it by ear on how you feel when you get on the bike or running or whatever. But certainly within a few minutes into your interval session, you would know.
Yeah.
And I've gone down to do a interval session, VO2 max or a sweet spot or
10
whatever it might
minutes later
be,
you're back upstairs.
And 10 minutes later I've just got off and I've got upstairs. Yeah, it's just not worth.
Yeah.
It's not worth putting your body through 2 lots of stresses.
I have to say though that if you didn't know that you had it, you wouldn't know that you had it.
No.
Like literally, you never complain about it. You never hold it against your training. Like I'm the one that will say to you, "You're fatigued, baby. Like it's your Crohn's this week," and you're like you never.
No, I just need a battle through.
And I think you're amazing how you handle it. You're not. You don't look for sympathy. You don't probably people around you don't even know you've got it.
Yeah.
And I think that's testament to your nature and your motivation.
Yeah. And I keep myself fit. At the
Do
end
you think
of the day,
actually that's true? Do you think that's helped in managing the symptoms of it? Well, you wouldn't know, I guess.
It's not necessarily managing the symptoms, but let's just say I am fatigued and it's dropped my performance by 10, 20%.
That wouldn't happen in a week, but...
Yeah, but let's just say it dropped, whatever percentage it dropped by, it's dropping that off a percentage from somebody who is extremely active.
Extremely active, yeah.
Do 7-8 hours riding a week minimum, and we do gym work and things like that. Yeah,
insert now.
And if I lose 10%, I'm still probably more active or fit than somebody who doesn't do anything.
Who doesn't do anything, yeah. Do you know anyone else that's got it in the cycling world, in like your cycling?
Yeah, there's a few people I know.
Yeah. Is it mainly, or I guess it'd be mainly men anyway?
Yeah, just because that's...
typically men that ride.
Yeah. Someone who has been diagnosed less time than I have, who manages to treat his symptoms using more natural methods, I think.
Oh my god, that reminds me, do you remember when we first met?
Yeah.
Oh my, so when Russ and I first met, you were making kefir, weren't you?
Yeah.
So you were fermenting dairy product to turn into kefir, which if you don't know, then Google it. I can't be bothered to explain it. Because of the bacteria in it is a lot more voluminous than standard dairy, right? So dairy cultures are meant to assist with bowels and thing. I'm not explaining it very well. Gut bacteria and all that bollocks.
Almost forgotten really what.
Yeah, so I know because we looked into it, didn't we?
I don't know whether it did it. Did it basically?
It was populating the bacteria in your stomach and your colon.
Yeah. So, inflammatory bowel disease is a immunoresponse to your gut, and your natural immune system thinks that your bowel lining is a foreign body, and it will try and get rid of it.
So it's attacking, your immune system is attacking your bowel, basically.
Yeah. So it's a immunodeficiency disease.
Yeah.
And I think what something like kefir does is almost line the gut with
it's like a barrier.
Like almost like a barrier.
Yeah. So Russ had like
I was trying to ferment my own
massive kilner jars
of
kefir, and actually, I hate to say this, but it didn't make any difference to you.
And the sad thing is, the reason why I did it was just because of the ridiculous price of kefir products.
Milk. I know.
Like,
remember I was buying it for you at first?
All they've done is they've taken like 60p a litre bloody milk, left it in the fridge for a few days with kefir cultures in it, and then taking it back out again, and then they charge you
£2 a litre.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It is expensive, but you tried it, and unfortunately for you, it just didn't work.
Well, the homemade stuff definitely didn't work. Whether it's because it wasn't fermented properly, and
but
they just carried on fermenting in my stomach. Maybe I have no idea. But I stopped that just because I wasn't getting on. It was a lot of hassle.
Oh my gosh, it was so stressful.
Yeah, and I didn't enjoy it. If you enjoy doing that, which this other cyclist I know, he enjoys it. And
and that's part of it.
It seems to manage it really well.
Fair play for you for trying. I did think you were a bit of a weirdo vegan though, because of that when we first met.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Don't get started on vegans. So does that put Russ under any risk for the coronavirus? That's the question that everyone wants to ask.
Do you really want to know about that? Yes.
Yes, it's an autoimmune disease.
So it's anyone with inflammatory bowel disease is on a higher risk.
Because your immune system is compromised, right?
Yeah. Fortunately, the medication I'm on and the fact that I'm not suffering with a flare doesn't put me into the high risk category.
Which is good, yeah.
If somebody's taking a medication which suppresses the immune system, they are in a critical category, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like everyone, we're just being extra careful.
Yes.
Because what we don't want to happen is you have a flare and then
end up with
get a cold and then end up with coronavirus. That just wouldn't
if I had
be
all three
great.
at the same time, I think that would put me in a pretty
high risk.
Risk, yeah.
So we just thought we would give a different perspective on training, and certainly when it comes to you look at other people's lives and they're training, they're doing all these awesome things, but you just don't know what's underlying or what they're coping or managing. So it's just to show that Russ is managing not anything special, but you just manage your training and a sport that you love.
And there's loads of people out there that manage something.
Oh, there are.
And it could be an injury, it could be a health related issue, it could be something mental, psychological. There's so many so many different things, and fundamentally it really comes down to trying to be in tune with your body, in tune with your mind, and really just doing the best you can, and trying to pick yourself up after the times have been bad, because it's so easy to spend a week having hardly ridden the bike
or run or whatever,
and then try and motivate yourself to go back into a structured training program again.
And I would say especially because comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're looking on Strava, or you're looking at your friends posting their amazing lives on Facebook or whatever, and because it's what I do, your Instagram lives that no one really ever leads and lives or cares about, us included. No one's going to care about this. But when you compare yourself to other people, that also can really demotivate you. So it's just us saying that, again, product of your lifestyle, even though you're going through this, you still manage your training, and it's staying motivated
and consistent,
and just also we also feel that you are what you think. So
if you let it get to you, if you let it drag you down and you dwell on it, it is just going to be a product of that.
And that's hard, right? Because natural human nature is to dwell and be negative, but I think we've both learned from previous experience that you just have to pull yourself through it.
Do what you can do all the time. If it's just getting on the bike and doing half an hour easy spinning, at least you keep that
momentum and habit. Definitely.
So that when you feel better again, you've already got the habit there, you just carry on, but you increase your intensity back up.
Yeah, exactly. So it was nice to talk about your bowels today.
Bowel movements.
Yeah. We will keep you updated with them, because I feel like the people would
really going to be looking forward to that.
Can't wait to use all the poo emojis. And stay safe, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this, something a little bit different. No doubt we'll be showing you our best lives. Again over the next week. Our Instagram lives that no one cares about, and we will upload a new video. Actually, we did a workout at the weekend, a core workout. But stay safe, stay well, and peace.